Away.
Take it away, Belle.
Hello, welcome back to another one of our monthly Manos episodes, presentations. This month, for the month of May, we are focusing on Feliz, which is not Manos' newest yarn, but I think their second newest. Their newest one is the Alpaca Heather. They came out with the Feliz shortly before, but they have greatly expanded their colors over the last year or two. And we're really liking this yarn. It's a nice yarn. It's a great spring, early summer yarn because it's a DK weight yarn, 350 yards to a skein, which is nice yardage. It is 70% superwash merino, our lovely merino yarn that Manos always works with. And then 30% modal, which I believe is extruded eucalyptus fiber. Is that correct?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got the eucalyptus fiber gives it a lot of sheen, which is really kind of neat. It kind of lends that depth and sheen that silk usually does, but in a nice, lightweight, breathable fiber modal. So that's why it lightens up the merino a little bit, doesn't make it feel as heavy, and it's nice and breathable. And so that's and it's superwash. Did I say that? Feliz, superwash. And then it is a 28 per skein. And so you've got all these beautiful solid colors, or semi-solids, as Manos usually does. They're not perfectly solid. One of my favorites is this karst. You can see it's got some nice dark gray, and then it's got some warm grays in there. So they're classic tonal solids. And then they've got some really nice, interesting, variegated colors, space-dyed colors. Some are classics that you'll find in other yarn ranges. Some are specific just to the Feliz selection. So there's some really neat yarns in here. This has been a favorite lately. This is called Provence. So that's the yarn. Any questions on the yarn so far? You knit this typically on a US 4. Nice kind of middle of the range DK yarn. Then let's jump into the models. I'd like to take credit for the fact that this is the current knit along model that Elizabeth Smith is doing, but it was pure luck. This is the azalea pattern. It's a really cute tea pattern, kind of boxy, but again, she's got these nice little details that give it some shape and interest. We've got short rows on the shoulders here, so it slopes nicely and lays nicely on your shoulders. But so this Elizabeth Smith is doing a knit along, kind of informal knit along, and what it is you sign up for her email. Or her sign up on her website to get the emails, and she's sending out tutorial videos that kind of walk you pace by pace through the process of making this piece specifically. So it's really neat, and she's been very interactive with folks as far as answering questions and addressing concerns, talking about gauge and all those things.
Sizing has been a big topic of discussion on the.
Yes, so there is they came out with an updated version of the pattern, which has an expanded size range. And I could list some of the sizes off for you if you'd like, but essentially what it comes down to is she's inserted a few more sizes in between what was originally there. So it doesn't make quite as big a jump between some of them. So if you went to a larger size or a smaller size because it was just too much of a jump to go to the other one, it might be that now there's a size that is more what you're looking for.
She's also very, very responsive. I mean, I sent her an email because I had a question about gauge and sizing, and I sent it like Tuesday evening while she's on the East Coast. Monday morning when I got up, there was a response. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from a few people that have come into the shop that have been working on it. Yeah, very happy with the responsiveness. Plus, there's been a whole collection of folks getting together on the Facebook to talk about it and interact with it. So it's kind of a community thing, which is fun. Everybody's looking for some socializing, and you get to do it around this very cute little t-shirt pattern.
Is that top down or bottom up?
This is bottom up. It's knit bottom up. You're going to knit in the round bottom up. So you start with this band that is just garter with an eyelet pattern. And you're going to knit in the round until you get to the sleeves. And then you're going to divide for the sleeves. And you'll knit one side and then pick up your stitches held on a holder and knit the other. And then you'll do a 3-needle bind off at the top of the sleeve. So these are the things that she's going to go over in her little video tutorials. So she'll have a video tutorial about doing a 3-needle bind off if you've never done that. Working in the round. Oh, picking up stitches, I think, is another one. You're going to pick up stitches and knit this garter edging to your sleeves. So they're nice little video tutorials. They are sent to your, like I said, sent to your inbox. It's not a formal class. You don't have to be anywhere at a certain time. You can access them at your own time, your own leisure, and watch them as many times as you want. They're just kind of helpful tutorials. And so when you get to the part where you need her video, it's there for you. So that's kind of neat. And that way a lot of folks can join in and have fun with the knit along.
I'm going to share the screen for those that are interested in on our website. If you go up under events, you'll see the Azalea knit along. And so there you can see all the details. That takes you to her website. You can buy the pattern. And believe it or not, we also sell the yarn.
Imagine that.
Isn't that something? And then the pattern is right there on our website. It's a digital download, so when you get it, you'll just be able to download the pattern. And the new updated sizing will be live on our website probably by tomorrow. Yeah,
we just got the updated version, so we didn't get it in there today, but hoping to get it up there tomorrow.
And
so will you send it out? I already got my.
Yes, we'll send you an updated version.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So if by chance you buy it today, we'll go through and make sure you get the updated one.
Yeah. And if you're looking for fun ways to play with this, because this one was done in a solid color, and a solid colors is your best option, not your only option, but your best option for doing the eyelet. Oh yeah, here's all the Feliz. Oh, there.
Oh, sorry. Should I go back to all
right.
the Feliz colors? No. Okay.
But if you can do, you could break this tee up if you wanted to and do this part in a solid color and the body in a variegated color, and then go back to your solid color for this garter stitch up here. So it almost looks like a little Henley tee. I think that would be adorable. That'd be a fun way to play with color if you wanted to. There are also certain of the variegated colors that I don't think you would really lose this patterning if you did the whole thing in a variegate. So it's up to you, but options, because I like to think of different color options.
If you folks want to see all the colors, because there's now a fair amount of them. Mm-hmm. To Belle's point, when it first came out, which is pretty common, there was just a few colors, but they've really expanded. Yeah, like that marble would probably be a nice one for that.
Right, yeah. So there's a variegated color that you would not lose your eyelet detail in. And then, you could, let's say you fall in love with that autumn color, you could do the autumn for the body and then pick out a nice contrast color in a solid to do the garter. I think it'd be a fun detail.
And if you want to try that and you're not sure what would work, as always, drop us a note, send us an email, give us a call, and we're happy to suggest options.
Yeah. Or hold them up in the light together and say, yes, these work, or maybe let's look for something else.
Right. Great.
All right. So that's the azalea. And yeah, the size range, even before the expanded sizes, was pretty good. And now, yeah, there's a whole bunch of sizes to choose from. And it's intended to be worn with a little bit of ease. It's not supposed to be form-fitting. It's supposed to just be like a nice, comfortable tee. Nice summer piece.
That's great. Yeah, I know. I talked to a couple of people that were doing this as their first sweater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very approachable for a beginning garment piece because it's kind of straightforward and not too complicated. This is called Thatch Eaves. And Thatch Eaves. And it's kind of a poncho top. I think you could wear it as a top or more of a poncho. I think they officially call it a poncho.
Ooh, I like it.
Isn't it neat? It doesn't really show it off. Well, first of all, I'm too close.
And I can show the pictures of the pattern as well.
Oh,
So you
wow,
got a
look at
nice,
that.
yeah, it's got this beautiful, there you go. See that nice patterning. This is worked sideways. You're knitting this way. So the neckline is done in short rows. And then you seam up the sides. There's a really nice detail of a I-cord edging around the neckline. Just a simple garter on the sleeve edging here. And this gives you an idea too of what some of those variegate colors look like when they're knit up in stockinette. Oh, and I love this, the little split hem on the side. Nice little detail there.
That's great. That's a nice piece.
It is a very nice piece. And this has a little garter edge finish as well.
When you pulled up the V-neck to the back, it looked like it could do a hoodie. Is that, or did I just lose that?
Yeah, no, there's no hoodie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could possibly knit a hoodie and attach it to this back neckline if you want to get adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, same on the front as the back, essentially, except for the neckline, obviously. Lots of straightforward knitting, nothing too complicated except for these small sections. And these look more difficult than they actually are.
That's great. And this may surprise you. Yes, the pattern is on our website.
Yeah, this is a free pattern, which I think is cool. So yeah,
It's 4 skeins.
which is really nice considering, you know, couple of the smaller sizes of the azalea, the little t-shirt pattern I showed you, are also 4 skeins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get a nice, cozy, sizable poncho with 4 skeins of Feliz.
Yeah, this is a different colorway than the one we have in the store.
Shouldn't be.
Oh, is it? Oh, is that the same color? Oh, yes, it is. You're right.
Mhm.
Never mind.
Is it with the same yarn that you just showed us a minute ago? All the
Yeah,
colors?
so all of
Okay.
these models use the Feliz yarn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Kind
Yeah,
of
that's
highlight this.
Provence. That's right.
Yep, the Provence. And these are just a sampling of the patterns that Manos has for their different yarns. Because Feliz is one of the newer ones, they don't have it super extensive, but they do have more patterns on their website, or we can get them for you, than what we brought in. They make wonderful patterns, straightforward, clear patterns. We very rarely have issue with the Manos patterns. So that's Thatch Eaves, a simple but interesting poncho.
Yeah.
And then we've got accessories. This is called Nautilo. It is 3 skeins. It's the number of skeins. I think there was a typo originally on the tag. So it is 3 skeins made with short row wedges. And it's the easiest of short rows because they don't do anything fancy to close the holes, because they use them as a design detail. So I kind of think of it as an abalone shell. You know, you've got those little vents along the way, beautiful curving shell colors. Not too low. Nice substantial wrap.
And obviously that'll work in variegates as well as the semi-solid.
Yeah. So this is a nice simple design that will work in all kinds of things. And it's just an easy, carefree wrap. I like that it's deep, so you've got coverage. Sometimes you'll sacrifice for width or length, I should say. You only have a small part that's kind of deep, so your edges are still kind of small and cold. But this one, you know, especially this end, you've got a nice wide bit here. Wrap it around the tops of your arms. Bring this around, tuck it under, throw it over, let it hang down. Easy. And it's garter stitch, very easy, straightforward. Will lay nice and flat, cozy, lightweight, transition from spring to summer.
That's great.
Fun piece. That's the Knotlo.
And oddly enough, that's also on our website.
Free pattern.
Another free pattern. And to get to all the patterns, just so that everyone knows, you go up to extras, and one of the options is patterns and books. And if you click on that, you'll see a bazillion patterns. And one of the things you can do is go down to where the heading that says line, and this works on your iPad, your iPhone too. And for instance, we're looking at, and we're trying to tag them all correctly. So if you go down and you select Feliz, all of the patterns featuring Feliz show up. One of those cool little things. Ooh, look at that piece.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the rest are true accessories. What we consider accessories are those small pieces, gloves, hats, scarves. This is kind of like a twofer pattern, because you can get this. It's called the Interesting Bits. The Interesting Bits. There's a really cute little story behind it. This was made by Lisa Myers at Fairmount, and her little blurb at the top is that sometimes you're knitting along on a great big triangle shawl, and the first part is boring, and you just want to get to the interesting bits, which are usually relegated to the end of the shawl. So this is her Interesting Bits scarf. And so this is the scarf version, which is just essentially the tail end of the shawl, but in the same pattern, you can make the, it's a large triangular wrap shawl. And then this is at the edge of it. This is made with a very simple slip stitch pattern. This is, anybody can make this.
Oh, wow.
And it's a great way to play with color, which is why I made kits for this one.
Can you show us the inside?
Yes. So you can see these are the sections where the yarn is slipped. I think there's even like dropped stitches. You might drop those lines and then you slip it and it draws it up. So it's garter, the colored. So there's some relief to it too. You can kind of see, can you see? The garter ridges stand out like ridges against the flat stockinette. So it's kind of textural and 3D as well in a subtle way. So it's a really fun piece. Standard increases along the edge, so nothing too fancy. Nice straightforward knitting. and you get this really cute little scarf out of it. So you can use it just like your go-to rectangular scarf, but this way you've got some nice mitered edges, fun little kerchief look in the front, and you can play with colors.
And it's
So
all
first, Oz, can we show them the pattern that is the shawl as well?
absolutely. There. So there's the pattern.
That's the pattern. There it is. So there's the great big shawl. They made it in another yarn initially. And so you can see at the top there, it's just kind of a whole bunch of stockinette knitting in one yarn. And then towards the end is where you've got those interesting bits. So that's all in one pattern, the shawl version, and there you go. Yeah. Shawl version versus the scarf version. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's dramatic.
It really is.
Yeah, well, especially in that color.
Yeah.
And yeah, you
Very
can
dramatic.
see even there, you can see how the garter makes it stand out and pop with those little dashes of color. So it's a really fun way to play with color. So I made some kits for him because that was exciting.
How many skeins?
It is 1 skein each of the main color and the contrast color.
Hang on.
The interesting bits, it's under I, not T.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
And if you do the shawl, how much does it increase?
So the shawl is 1 skein of Milo and 2 skeins of oh, they did it all in Milo. So it's 2 skeins of the contrast color and 1 skein of the main color.
And you can pretty much
Interchange.
Milo
Yeah.
and Feliz. So if you do it in Feliz, it would probably be the same.
You'd be close. Yeah, there's a little bit more yardage on the Milo.
Yes, that's right. Yes, there is.
It's 30 more yards. So it'd be, you could try it. But
So
yeah,
how many yards is 1 skein of Milo?
1 skein of Milo is 380.
No,
And
Milo.
1 skein of Feliz is 350.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with 1 skein, they got the shawl, the big one?
A total of 3 skeins.
Oh, okay. Of the base of the color, right? Of the main color.
Right.
1 skein of the main color, 2 skeins of the contrast color. So a total of 3 skeins altogether for the shawl. And then for the scarf, it's 1 skein of the main color and 1 skein of the contrast color. So grand total of 2 skeins in the Feliz for the scarf.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Elizabeth, is that a new pop-up?
Apparently it is.
That's fancy.
Yeah. Apparently an update happened.
Look at us. We look so cool and we didn't even know it.
I know.
All right. So I'm trying to remember. I've been making so many kits lately. I'm trying to remember my thought process behind these ones. Oh, yes, for the names, because she called it the interesting bits. So I was thinking, you know, the core, the heart of the matter. So I named them accordingly, just various things and keeping within my, so key, origin, pith, source, core. And then I tried to do some high contrast, you know, colors that went together but didn't necessarily meld. I wanted the contrast color to pop. So that one's key. This one is origin. That one's pith. And the solid is going to be your background color. And the variegated color is going to be your dashes. That's going to be your contrast color.
So I guess you could invert it, couldn't you? If you
You
really wanted that.
absolutely could.
Mhm.
And as always, you can choose your own two and throw in the pattern in your cart and make your own kit.
And if you want to do the shawl, just add one more skein.
Yes. To your contrast color.
Right.
So that's the interesting bits. Yeah, I like this little piece. I like it that it's kind of your classic, you know, narrow scarf, doing the scarf thing, but it's got this really cute little neck. You know, it's like a cross between a kerchief and a scarf. I like that. I like that it makes this part interesting. Because it's the interesting bits.
That's right. It's all interesting.
It's all interesting.
Yeah, that really is it. It's a striking piece.
Yeah, I like it. And because of that Feliz, it's got a lot of really nice drape. So we already had this model in the shop. It's called twined flowers. Kind of. But I was greedy and I asked for Manos's version too, so we could have both. Because I think it's really interesting to see it in two separate colorways. So this is twined flowers. This is a scarf that is done in short rows. And you're actually bringing in another yarn, completely different yarn line. It's the Pheno yarn line. So it's a fingering weight. You're also mixing gauges, which is kind of fun. But for this is very simple, doesn't throw anything off. It's easy. You just kind of throw it in there and have fun with it. So this purple is the Pheno. And then this is the background color is the Feliz. And it's 2 skeins of Feliz. No, yes, 2 skeins of Feliz, 1 skein of Pheno. There's 490 yards in Pheno. So Pheno goes a long way. And you get to a halfway point where you then change directions and you flip. Yeah, you flip your short rows. So you're going the other direction. So it kind of starts curving one way and then goes back and curves the other way. And it also makes it so it's a little more, let's say reversible, because you know, you don't have to worry about is it on the wrong side, right side. You're going to see both sides and you don't have to worry about it.
It makes kind of an S curve.
Yes, it does. A great big, slow, gentle S curve.
Yes.
And this is the version that Chris made. So we did a different background color and then a different Pheno color. So you can see, I like the contrast of these two, especially because this one, the Pheno is kind of overall lighter than the background color. And whereas this one is a dark contrast compared to a light background. So I think it's neat to see them both and to see how they interplay.
Reminds me of a piano.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, piano keys, very
Yeah.
much so. I think it has been called piano keys scarf by a few folks. So I also made kits for this because this was fun to play with the yarn colors. And I love the Pheno colors. And the Feliz colors are also kind of, some of them are deep, but some of them are kind of muted as well. So I think they went well with the Pheno colors. And it makes a very generous length of scarf. So there's a lot to play around with. You could, you know, wrap it multiple times around your neck, be nice and cozy, and still have nice little dangly ends to hang down. I'm going to try that while we're looking at the things. So that's the Manos, that's their pattern mix. That's the purple one we saw. Lily is Chris's version. Those rich autumn colors. Here's Peony, nice and light and airy. Orchid.
for those of us that like color.
Yeah, you gotta have something fun in there. Pansy, I love the deep dark contrast of that one.
Yeah, I think that would be a really, really nice one.
Yeah, I think that one would be very striking. Pansy. Dahlia. So this is one where we've got a dark background with the light stripes. And Aster, which is a little more subtle. You know, you can do it however you want. If you want high striking contrast, or if you want a kind of subtle melding of colors, you can play with it so many different ways.
And yes, the pattern is also available right on the website.
Yeah. So yeah, you can see I kind of wrapped it around. You can still have these ends falling down. I actually don't mind, you know, there's a lot of folks that will staunchly tell you this is the wrong side of garter. I actually don't mind it. I think it's kind of interesting in that it melds the colors a bit more and makes it more, oh, what's the word? I lost my words all of a sudden.
Marled.
There you go, marl. Thank you, Linda. It's gonna marl them and mix them. We're you know, we're doing the impressionist thing where it's all kind of vague and wishy-washy and it's just happy color.
Yeah.
So it's fun. And you can have it both in one scarf. So I think that's really neat. So that's the twined flowers.
Yeah, very effective. That's a fun. When we first set eyes, we saw that at a trade show when they first came out with it, and we just saw that and just fell in love with it. And that's so we had to knit it up for the shop.
Yeah. I like that it's really long. It's a really long scarf because you can do that thing where you loop it around a bunch of times. You could also very easily seam the ends of it and make it an infinity scarf. If you don't want loose ends, you can just loop it around a bunch of times too. That would work. Here is, I really like this pattern. There's a pinch section. It came with a boo-boo. We're so sad. So we won't look at that part. But this is another pattern where you get multiple patterns in one. And I think this is so cool. Very simple, straightforward, but it's got a striking effect. Oh yeah, look at that. In the light, it looks really cool. So what you're doing with this is called Sedgwick. And this pattern comes with 3 separate patterns in it. When you purchase this pattern, there is a scarf, there is a wrap, a large wrap. I think there's a cowl. And what it is, again, very straightforward, nice, simple, lay flat, squishy garter. But what they're doing, again, here's to, you know, fight back against those wrong side of garter people, is alternating it. And how you do that, so this is, you know, this is the back side of garter and this is the front side of garter. And how you do that is this section, as it faces you, you would knit it on this side and knit it on the other side. This section, you would purl on one side and purl on the other side. So it's not complicated, but you get this really nice architectural design to it.
That's knit lengthwise?
This one is knit lengthwise. Yes, you're going to
Boy, you cast on a lot of stitches.
You're going to have to cast on a few stitches, yes. But it's worth it, Linda.
Yeah,
You're going to do a simple 2-row striping. So you're only working with one color at a time. You're going to carry the color up the edge. And the pattern repeat is different for the wrap versus the shawl, I believe. It's really interesting. It's super simple, straightforward, not complicated, but it makes a striking, simple garment. Sorry, I'm sounding redundant, but I also made kits for these. Again, because it's so fun to play with this architectural striping.
Right, so there's the pattern.
There we are. Yeah. So what's neat about this is, again, you can do, yeah, there we go. Yeah, it is a cowl. Okay. So you can see the wrap they do, they start at an end. They start on a short end. You're casting on a short end and you're melding colors and changing as you go. That original was actually made in a yarn that is discontinued, but you could make it in any yarn if you wanted. The cowl, they did some color blocking. So it's interesting with just these different color choices. You can take this architectural piece and it really got some different feel. So, you know, here where it melds a bit more versus contrast, I think is really interesting. You can go either way with your piece. You can have high contrast or low contrast, and it's just really subtle. Like this one, yeah, it's kind of it's fairly high contrast, but it's a nice mixing. It's just a subtle blend.
It really does that, even though it's contrasty. Yeah, I really think it mixes the color. That's what they call a color mixing.
Yeah, and especially because you've got those interspersed sections where you're looking at the back side of the garter, that really mixes them up and, you know, blurs the line between these harsh lines.
Yeah, it's a neat piece.
Yeah, I really like this piece. I think it's a great way to play with color. Very interesting, but simple, very approachable for beginners, and a nice relaxing project for our advanced knitters that, you know, want a simple piece, keep their hands busy, but it's not totally straight garter.
And the kits are the scarf kits.
Correct. I did the scarf kits. We're happy to put together some Milo kits for you if you'd like. If you want to call us up or choose your own, we can help you figure that out. So that's our model.
Yeah, that would be gorgeous.
Yeah, and I think I might have done a mix of high contrast and subtle contrast with these, I think. I liked this one. And because the colors are so closely intermixed, you know, it's just tiny little lines of colors, they really do impact the way each of them is read, you know, how you see it, how you perceive it, because they're so influenced by the color right next to them because they're such small pieces, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that would
So
be very elegant.
Yeah, so here we've got one of those kind of subtle mixes where it's just going to have this overall kind of shifting color feel. And another really subtle one.
And the kits do all include the pattern.
Yes. Oh, wait, do they?
Yes.
Okay.
That would work for a man as well as a woman.
Oh,
Very
definitely.
much so.
Definitely. Yes. This would be a great men's scarf because yes, you've got these kind of architectural details.
And I can say from watching people come in, because we got these, I guess, last week, and Belle put them up, and I saw so many people drawn to this piece.
Oh, nice.
When they would come in the store. So yes, I agree. It's one, anybody can wear this. You just pick colors, you know, you pick the guy friendly colors.
Yeah.
And then you pick fun colors for everybody else.
And Feliz has lots of guy friendly colors too. But yeah, I don't, it's super simple, but I just really like this piece. I think because it takes a very familiar stitch and it flips it around and you're like, wait a minute, how'd that happen? It's fun. I like that. And then now we have two hats. These, we go from simple garter to some little more advanced technique hats, but they're really cute. This is the Matham Beret. And this also incorporates cabrito. So you get a nice fuzzy halo. You can see that fuzz. And it mixes and makes the the Feliz, a little heathered and soft. And what this section is honeycomb brioche. So this is a brioche pattern. You will have to learn brioche.
It's a beautiful piece.
It's a beautiful piece, yeah. And you can see it's interesting how much. So that's the back side. So all that beautiful lattice work for that mohair is on the front, which I think is fun. So it's another, I didn't make kits for these, but this is another really fun way to play with color, because the cabrito has some fun colors too. So you can pick a nice background color and then pick your pop cabrito to go on top there with cute little beret. Got a nice little star stitch on the top.
And it goes great with the scarf.
It goes perfectly with this scarf. Coordinated set. I'm thinking someone at Manos likes purple.
Yeah, you can really see that the mohair really softens it up.
It does, yeah. And you probably want to go darker with the Feliz than you think you should, because it really will, the mohair really does add a lot of kind of blurry color to it. So that's the mulberry, and the mulberry is actually fairly dark, but combined with that mohair, it lightens it up quite a bit.
Yeah, there's the mulberry that she was talking
Yeah,
about.
that's the mulberry. So you can see how much that skinny little fuzzy yarn changes the color of your base Feliz. And then this is another little sweet hat, sweet kernel. And it is also a brioche, but it's adorable. It's got a lovely decrease spiral. And what's really neat about brioche, so it kind of looks like a standard ribbing, but it's really plush. It is very plush, much more plush than a 1x1 ribbing. This feels flat and flat compared to this. This is very plush. This is the inside. So this is done in single color brioche, which might be a good beginner project to learn brioche, is with a single color. And you can see all that beautiful variegation in the Feliz. And it just makes a squishy, cozy little hat.
That's great.
I like that top a lot. Sweet kernel, cute is that.
Yeah, that's that great, that swirl on the top.
Yeah. And you've got a thoughtful decrease pattern. It looks nice instead of just, bundling it up at the top. There are folks, it seems like from what I've heard, the folks that learn brioche fall in love with it. They really enjoy it. And it's been kind of popular for the last few years. So there's a lot of really interesting patterns done in brioche. So if you're looking to expand your knitting skills, you want to try something new, I would definitely give brioche a try.
Somebody recommended a particular book on brioche that it was supposed to be really, really good, but I don't remember what it was or who wrote it.
I'm sure they're out there. Yeah, just like there are video classes and tutorials that you can sign up for and get. It's not an easy, sit down for 30 minutes and learn it type thing, most likely. You'll want to spend some time, have some time available to learn it. But if you're interested, I've heard it's worth it. Folks just fall in love.
And we can do private instruction if you want. We may do a brioche class. in the
That
future.
would be good.
Chris is nodding, saying, yep.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All
There we
set.
go. There we go. Well, we're going to teach you brioche, so you should come
Yes.
back and learn it.
Yes.
It's fun. It's squishy. And
I think I did take, I think the guild here did a little brioche lesson, but that was a while ago and I guess I didn't fall in love.
And it is probably definitely one of those skills that you would need to either do for a long time before you put it down or just periodically keep up with it.
Yeah.
There are some terminology and steps and techniques to it that could be easily forgotten if you step away from it for a while.
Well, I'm like that with the Kitchener stitch. If I don't do it for a while, I totally have to go back and relearn it.
Right. I'm not sure I actually learn it every time I do it, so that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's true. I just I go find a video, and although I did find this Russian lady the last time I did it, and she had it down to like 2 steps, and I really could
Make it stick in your brain a bit more. That way.
yeah, at least while I was doing it. Of
Yeah.
course, now I couldn't tell you, but I did bookmark that spot, so I can go
Okay.
back.
I usually try to think of some sort of, reminder, a way to memorize the steps,
Yeah,
but that one, I haven't done that one yet because that one's tricky.
well, it's not like you use it all the time anyways.
Right. Yeah.
And about 15 years ago, I got a set of dog tags that have Kitchener directions on
Oh, yeah.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
how fun.
And so I purposely do not bother memorizing it. I just know where the dog tags are and I go get them and
Right.
follow the directions and they work every time.
Yeah. That's like my brother-in-law asked, because there's this favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe that my husband loves. So my brother-in-law's like, oh, you must have the recipe memorized by now. It's like, oh, no. I take up the space in my cookbook, not in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the paper's for.
That's
I
right.
think my brain has only a limited space for memorizing. I have 2 pieces of music memorized. And there's other ones I play a lot, but I can't seem to memorize them. There's no more room there. I only have
That's what the
room
sheet
for
music's
2
for.
pieces.
Right.
That's what the sheet music's for. So
Exactly.
that's Feliz. If we have any questions, anybody want to see another model, ask some more questions, more up close detail, I can shove it right in the camera so you can get a good view.
Ooh.
That looks like a chocolate
That's
brown
really
on my
pretty.
computer and it's not, it's a purple, isn't it?
It is, yeah. This is that mulberry again.
Looks like a milk chocolate.
It does have a brownie tinge to it, but it
With a bunch of caterpillars on it.
don't eat that chocolate. That chocolate is suspect. Caterpillar chocolate, or maybe they're gummy worms.
Yeah, they could
Yeah.
be gummy worms.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, that's any other question. Oh, and I wanted to point out that these, especially this one, it's a good way to see the variegated colors knit up in stockinette. If you're considering doing a variegated color for the little knit along, for the little T, you can see how it shows up.
Yeah, and that's neat because that one, even though it's a variegate, that detail doesn't get lost.
Right, yeah. It still shows up. And I think
Yes,
even more.
somebody on the Facebook page showed a swatch that they had done with one of the variegates, and it had a lot of like white space, and I thought,
Lo podemos ver en el.
it looked like the patterning would show up nicely with it.
Yeah, because you're doing eyelets. So like with this,
Right.
yeah, you can still see those eyelets stand out, even though this is a fairly busy and high contrast variegate. So if you were to think of these sections as your little hem, I think these holes might be a little bigger than those ones, but still the idea.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to try.
Yeah, give it a try.
It's only yarn. Nobody dies.
Right? And because you're starting with that section, it would be so easy to just rip it all out
Yeah.
and start over. You know, it's not like you knit this whole thing and get to the top and because then you just rip the top out, but still.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has been so popular when we started publicizing the knit along. It's really been amazing how many people are doing that.
Yeah. I think because they're getting help along the way. It's slightly guided, which is really nice for folks. It makes it seem less scary, you know, when you've got a step-by-step approach. I love this nice little scoop neck.
I'd like to see that in a variegated with solid borders.
I would too. When are you going to make it?
That's right. What colors?
I've got too many things in my queue already.
Yeah, no, I think this would be really fun if you did this in your solid. I would do this garter as well as the top garter. I think that in the solid. And then you would do your stockinette body in the variegate color. Yeah. I think that would be really sweet. I would also do this little edge, this little pickup in your variegate color. I think that'd be a cute detail. Yeah, I think that'd be a really nice little top.
So Linda, I think that has to come to the top of your queue.
Yeah.
There's too many.
I've got so many projects. You know, it's just like, we'll just do that one.
Right.
So yeah, and this nice little, again, you've got your little short row sloped 3 needle bind off, so it lays nicely on your shoulders. I think that's a nice touch.
It's such a well-designed piece. It looks so simple, and then you start to take it apart. That's what strikes me is you start to really analyze it and you find there's all this stuff going on.
Yeah, like even just this little, this little pop out here makes a difference for how it looks and wears, you know? Yeah, it's the little details.
The one thing I'd never done before that I did do this time per instructions was I did wash my swatch.
Excellent.
And it did make a difference.
Yeah.
In the gauge. So
yes, it does.
That tee would be very nice in a girl's size as well.
Yes, for a little person.
Yes,
yeah,
for
a little
child.
person.
Yeah, the kind of the mommy and me shirt.
Yeah.
We should all send emails to Elizabeth Smith and see if she gets on that.
Right.
Yeah. Get busy.
It's like, I know you just expanded the sizes, but hear us out.
Did you expand them down?
Yeah, just expand them a little bit more. Yeah, that would be a very cute little tee. I also think it'd be really cute if you striped this.
Oh yeah.
And then if I striped it, I would make I would choose just one color for the garter sections.
Yeah.
Stripe the body.
Yeah.
And do one color for your garter sections. And that would be cute too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would feel very summery for some reason. I don't know why. Why do stripes feel like summer? They do. Maybe it's because you're wearing your nautical t-shirts.
Yeah, your gondoliers in their striped shirts.
Oh, I was thinking pirates. You're much more.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, gondoliers. That's what we mean.
That's it. Not pirate. Not so much pirate. Well, there could be pirates.
Gondolier pirates.
Right.
Yeah. They don't seem very competent. Gondolier pirates.
If you're in Tampa, Florida, pirates are very big in Tampa, Florida. They even have a big parade every year called the Gasparilla Parade.
Oh.
Which celebrates the invasion of Tampa by the pirates of the Isle of Gasper.
Oh,
That
Not.
seems an interesting thing to celebrate.
It's I was at the parade once. I was actually in the parade many years ago, and it was a riot. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Well, that's great stuff.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Go, Feliz. You
Feliz,
need
yeah.
some.
And it is a machine washable yarn.
It's machine washable.
If you want to do that.
Yep. We would still recommend for all of the machine washable yarns that we suggest. We would still highly recommend that you put it on a delicate or hand wash cycle on your machine if you have it, just to extend the life of it a bit more. And especially with yarns that maybe have some cotton or silk or modal in them, a vigorous spinning or agitation is just going to stretch them even more. So something to keep in mind, but it won't felt on you.
That's right.
mm.
And lay flat to dry.
That's right.
I would not hang dry this because it might grow even more.
Get really long.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be a tunic.
Turn into a dress.
Yes.
But the yarn itself is pretty stable. It's not like alpaca, which grows when you look at it.
Yeah.
I find the Feliz is pretty stable. Even the like the big piece that we have hanging up didn't get to be 42 feet long.
Yeah, yeah. And I really do enjoy the sheen that the modal gives it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, let's see if you can see it on this dark black. And because it takes the dye slightly differently than the merino too, so it's a slight heathering effect as well as having a sheen. I don't know if you can really catch it there or not. You can see the heather for sure. I don't know if the sheen is coming out.
A little bit. It's a very silk-like look.
Yes, it's the same kind of sheen as the silk yarn would have.
And it feels really nice.
It does.
Really liked my gauge swatch. I'll go get it.
Oh, good. Yes, and if you're interested in hearing the expanded sizes of the patterns, I have it up too.
Oh, and we did gauge swatches in the round, so that's why we've got fringe.
Because you're gonna get, you will get a better gauge of your knitting, because you're knitting so much of it in the round. It'll be more true to how you're knitting the actual piece.
Yeah. So she highly recommended that you do the gauge swatch in the round.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing I found, people asked, when she gives the yardage for her patterns, she includes doing a swatch. So if you're worried about not having enough yarn, she figures you're going to be a good knitter and do your swatch.
She has such high expectations of us.
Yeah, she has high expectations. But I actually went to, I think the pattern calls for a size 6 needle. And it seems like invariably when I use whatever needle is recommended, I end up having to go up a needle size. So I started with a 7, and I really like the way it feels. It's so soft,
nice.
And drapey.
Nice.
So,
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
So, and I had a whole discussion with her about that and adjusting for, pattern size and everything. And so I am optimistic that this is going to.
Oh, good.
I'm sure it's going to come out great.
Yeah. She seems like a really fun, nice person too.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. So let's see, how many are there now? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are now 12 sizes
Wow.
available in the updated pattern.
Is the smallest size I forget.
The small size is still 37 3/4,
okay.
but then so it used to jump to 43 3/4.
Right.
Now there's a mid size.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's a 40 3/4. So again, like I said earlier, for folks that thought, that 7 stitches or whatever was too much of a jump for them, or inches. Now there's that in between size.
Well,
Like I said, it's
depends on-
intended to have a kind of oversized, boxy feel and fit. So what your personal ease, what maybe that you like, or if you've got a shirt that you like the swish and feel of, lay it down and measure it, and you can compare that to these, and that'll give you an idea of which bust size circumference you want to aim for.
Great. Wonderful. Any other questions, comments? Everybody's just chomping at the bit to knit their next Feliz project.
I think that's what it is. Yes.
That's great. Well, Belle, as always,
Yeah,
thank you.
I think this is
Thank
kind
you.
Great.
Thanks for joining my monthly Manos presentation.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
fabulous. Thank you. Thank you.